Westworld Season 2, Episode 1. Ooh, it was an interesting episode. A lot of like resetting, entertaining at points. I felt very confused and muddled at points.
You don't say.
I mean, I don't know if the two timelines were confusing to you. Here's a third one. Let's add another aspect into the mix. But the quote that stood out to me about this was little what's his name in the show? Little Ford. Right. Everything in here is code. Okay, cool. Everything in here is code. Everything in this episode seemed like code. Break it down for me, Dave. What stood out to you?
Yeah, no, these violent delights have violent podcasts. Subscribe on Nowstalgia. I know. I actually liked the timeline aspect in this because for like a wireframe, I think it's smart. You have the one timeline that's immediately after the season 1 finale when Dolores shoots Ford and everyone starts getting fucked, right? And then you have 2 weeks later where Ford wakes up on the beach and there's finally like a security, like reinforcement presence fixing the damage, right? Figuring out what's going on. So having the season progress as we have those two timelines meet, I think could be cool. At least the construct, I think, has potential. But of course, the concerns we brought up last week are still present. I mean, in terms of confusion, I mean, they just set up a lot of shit. Like, all right, we have the tiger, Shogun world. Let's get there. There's this new body of water. All these dead hosts. Apparently, Bernard did it. Oh, Teddy's dead. All right, but Teddy's with Dolores. So there's this. You have no way of foreseeing what's going to happen. We just have to let it play out. Yeah. I also really liked the moment where they brought in Sizemore, the dickhead like narrative guy. Yeah. Kind of brought him back in for comic relief. Yep. And Maeve turned the tables on him, having him like stripped down in front of him. And they also showed full frontal nudity on a premiere drama for a man. Yeah. So I thought that was a good moment for the show. And the negatives, I mean, Tessa Thompson, she's nowhere to be seen in the current timeline. Does she die? I hope not, but
I hope not either, but it makes sense. I mean, I can't imagine she's going to be super prominent in the show.
She's
how much
busy.
Time does she have? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how much time was she even on set? You know, who fucking knows?
Exactly.
Shooting all these movies. But yeah, I think, you know, a lot of the problems with it just being a lot of table setting and getting it up to speed. Character A meet character B, dupe C. Kind of typical for a premiere for a new season. So that's fine. It's not really much of a critique. But it was a long episode. It was 69 minutes. Not nice. I think that should be trimmed down a little bit, especially because the finale was 90 minutes, and apparently the 4th episode of the season is 1 hour and 11 minutes. So you need to justify length, and it's not just a broad statement of quality, you know? So,
yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't an episode that I went to bed and I was like, I probably didn't need to stay up to watch this. I could have caught it some other time, but because I want to bring the culture to the people, wanted to get on it. The Bernard stuff is interesting. I think in the sense that, you know, like you said, with the timeline, you're seeing him in the future. Obviously, it's going to catch up at some point and fill in those gaps. I also think it's interesting that possibly you see him talking to Dolores, and maybe it's actual alive Bernard and not robot Bernard, which
it could be Arnold, like a real another. Yeah.
I also kind of thought the stuff with Maeve is by far the stuff I'm most invested in, and Maeve just in general is the person I'm rooting for. And I think the man in black had a nice moment when he was kind of talking about how there's actual stakes in this now and the game is real, which does add an element to this, because obviously if the hosts get killed, at least as far as I'm aware, there's not going to be a way to really like reboot them or fix them with the way things are at the moment. Maybe that will change. So yeah, I think adding stakes to this definitely adds something. I mean, there's still parts of this like Dolores. I just don't give a fuck about Dolores still, but obviously I'm supposed to, because it seems like she's the antagonist in this. At
least it's more clear. She's not just like the vehicle for the mystery, you know? Like, all right, we have to go take the other world for us. Okay, fine. At least there's a motivation. At least there's a purpose now. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Teddy. I don't know. But another like the Man in Black stuff, I thought was good. Like the first scene he has, he realizes it's everything he wanted. The stakes are real.
Yeah,
cool. And then there has the whole other scene with Ford, which just kind of like hammers it home with a big whiteboard in case you didn't notice or catch it the first time. I thought that was a little superfluous. Another thing, when you first get the present timeline, you realize, oh, Westworld and all the other parks are on some island in the Asian Pacific area. I was like, all right, I guess this is a big ass island. If there's like a Grand Canyon thing and all these other worlds, whatever. Kind of quickly answers a mystery that didn't really need answering. But the one thing I'm hopeful for, and I didn't really even catch it the first time until I was, reading shit online, but one of Bernard's flashbacks, there's one with Dolores in like a black dress, like a contemporary getup, not like Westworld attire. So are we going to see more of the outside non-parks world that Westworld takes place in? I hope so, because the society that allows you to go play rape and murder is actually probably more interesting than the world where the rape and murder happens,
But what about that Shogun world, though?
Yeah, dog. We'll see.
Can't wait to see where that tiger is coming from and why it's washed up on that shore. So go ahead.
Also, Luke Hemsworth, not dead. Don't know how, but he's not dead.
Definitely some surprises, some good stuff, some not so good stuff. We'll be checking out Westworld after a couple more episodes, or if there's an episode that really stands out, we'll be commenting on it. Give us your thoughts at Nowstalgia Pod. I know that a lot of people stand for this show, so we want to hear from you. Tell us why we should like it more.